Hey, Mama. So, for the next few weeks, I'm going to be doing something new, a little bit different on the podcast. So, I decided to take a mini summer break from recording new episodes. And instead of just doing, a bunch of replays, I really wanted to highlight some of the amazing women that I have been able to work with who are also podcasters. So, today's episode is coming from the Art of Playful Parenting podcast, which is hosted by Jill Lerman. Jill is one of the amazing members of the Social Media Detox Club. She is a play and parenting coach, early childhood educator, play expert, and a mom to a toddler. She empowers overwhelmed parents and caretakers to connect and engage with their little ones through simple invitations to play and create to help make parenting feel more joyful and manageable. She also serves as a play expert and consultant for brands where she teaches classes, runs workshops, consults on product development, and provides activity ideas. As a mom herself, Jill knows how difficult getting through the day can be, which is why, above all else, her approach makes it easy for parents to facilitate interaction and play that supports development. She loves helping families create an environment and culture that sees children as capable from their earliest days, that values creativity, playfulness, bonding, and connection. Jill is so amazing at what she does, and I'm really excited to share this episode with you guys from her podcast. So in this episode, she's going to be breaking down, how to actually teach your child independent play and how that can help you, as a mom, as a busy mama, save your sanity and actually be able to be productive with the kids at home. So I actually participated in one of Jill's independent play challenges, and it was so eye-opening for me. And it's really been helpful with allowing me to actually be able to get work done with the kids at home. So trust me, you are going to want to listen to this episode if you are a work from home mama. All right, let's jump into today's episode.
Welcome to the Art of Playful Parenting podcast, where we talk about all things related to play and parenting. I'm Jill Lerman, and I'm an early childhood educator, a play and parenting coach, and a mom. I'm here to help you feel less overwhelmed and burnt out and more empowered as a parent. We'll talk about how to connect and support your children through simple play prompts and the tools and strategies you need so parenting can feel more joyful and manageable. It can feel so hard and lonely, but it doesn't need to be. So let's get into it. Hi, welcome back to the Art of Playful Parenting podcast. I'm Jill Lerman, and I'm really excited for today's episode, which is about one of the topics I definitely work with clients the most about. It's what I get asked the most about, and it is something that really is a lifeline for me as a parent, and that is independent play. And today I want to talk specifically about how I utilize independent play as a mom who is juggling running my own business as well as being the primary caretaker for my daughter, and honestly how it keeps me sane and connected in parenting. If you're listening to this and you feel like you're in a constant cycle of entertaining your child, or maybe your child is having more screen time than you would like them to because it just feels like it's the only way for you to get anything done or to get a little bit of a break or a little bit of time to yourself. And if you're wanting that time back for yourself while your child is learning and playing independently, stay here, listen for the next little bit, and I'm going to give you some tips about how to make that happen. Because if it sounds familiar, you're likely struggling with independent play, or maybe you're hoping to infuse more of it into your child's day. And honestly, that's great, because I can tell you, having worked in early childhood education for many, many years, that independent play really is one of the most important and beneficial parts of your child's early years. And entertaining a child all day long, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable for the caretaker, but it also stunts the growth of your child's ability to entertain, to problem solve, to engage themselves. And I can tell you without question that as a mom, like I said, running my own business, I could not do this without independent play. It's how I'm able to make it all work. And while, of course, playing with your child is fun, it's important. Well, it's fun for some people. I shouldn't say it's fun for everyone. Not everyone loves playing with their kids, but it's important, it's beneficial. But when we're involved in our child's play, we change it. That's just a reality. We're not equals with our children. We have different sets of play skills. We have different perspectives of the world, different knowledge that we're bringing in. And so the course of the play changes even with our good intentions when we're involved in it, which is why it's so important that our child also has time that they're engaging and playing independently without us. Before we go on anymore, I do want to talk about what exactly is independent play. And really what it means is just when your child is engaging in play and something they enjoy without adult participation and assistance. It does not mean unsupervised. It could mean that if, some children will go off into another room, kind of do their own thing. This is going to depend on their play skills as well as their age. But it doesn't necessarily mean that. So what we really want to focus on is our child engaged without our participation and our need to help them with what they're doing. And if you're wondering, when can I start doing this? The truth is anytime. It's something that you can start building on from infancy, but if you're listening to this and you're like, well, my child is 10, it's never too late to start. And I feel like that's really great news and very reassuring. There are so many reasons why independent play is important for your child. I have some other episodes on that topic and we'll continue to talk about it a lot for purposes of today, because I really do want to get into kind of how I fit this into our everyday life, because I think a lot of times we get caught in this loop of talking about the benefits that are very, very real and very true and very important, but not necessarily in how do we actually make this happen. So what I will say in terms of the benefits is just that, they're very well documented and well studied. And in my 15 years working with families, my years in the classroom, working in private preschools, and now working in a more one-on-one capacity, I've just seen how important play is, particularly child-led independent play firsthand. And it just really is how they learn best. It's how they make sense of the world around them. I really believe it is the best tool that we have as parents to support their development and their growth. And, if you're starting your journey, remember that every child is unique. That's kind of the phrase that I come back to again and again, regardless of what it is that I am supporting a family with. Some children are more prone to play on their own and come to it more naturally. Some might not. But regardless of what their personality is, what their temperament is, I can assure you that every single child can learn how to play independently, every single one. So for us personally, a huge tool in seeing more independent play, and this is really true with a lot of the families I work with, both one-on-one and in my membership as well, has been play prompts. So where we start with that is, play prompts are a tool. They are a tool that will help you see more independent play because they help get your child started. And, for you to figure out kind of where to start with this, I would say it really begins with just observing and paying attention to what your child enjoys. This is going to help them to play more independently. So taking note of things like when your child is in a moment where they're kind of absorbed in their play, taking note of what is their play style? Are they more into, building and constructive play? Do they tend to gravitate toward dramatic play or imaginative play? Is there a certain book or a certain TV character that they're really into these days? Noticing these little details is going to be a key a key component in supporting your child's independent play journey, because using play prompts, or they can also be called invitations to play. That was kind of the term that we used when I was teaching in a Reggio preschool. They're really effective. And it could be as simple as putting out two things that your child isn't used to seeing together, like, I don't know, a bowl of water and some animal figurines, or a bowl of water and some plastic vehicles. Maybe it's placing a favorite stuffed animal or favorite character figurine with some magnetic tiles and some blocks. It could be placing a favorite toy in an unexpected location. It's that little something, that little spark that kind of gets the engaged play going. And, spending some time thinking about, what are my child's favorite characters? What is their play style? What is the type of thing that really gets them most immersed and engaged? And then how can we use that information and kind of combine it together to prompt and spark their play? And if you're listening to this and you're like, that sounds great, but I'm a little lost, like I need more support, which I totally get. I love this. This is what I do for work, but it's not something that, necessarily that your brain is attuned to. It's kind of like a skill that we acquire along the way. So this is part of why I started my low-cost monthly membership, because I wanted to share simple prompts that anyone can set up, that use things you have around your house already, take under 2 minutes to put together. And in the membership, I send about like 15 to 20 of these a month. They're written out almost like recipes with like what you need, and then step by step exactly how you put it out. There are not a lot of steps because, like I said, under 2 minute setups. And then they're also, in addition to the play plans each month, there's a library of classes where I drop a new one each month. You also have access to the previous ones, but that then give you that knowledge where you can learn and understand more about your child's development and their play skills and how that all comes together. And honestly, I didn't really mean to go off about the membership in this moment. I was going to talk about it more at the end, but it was why I started this, because I wanted to help give support of like, hey, this is kind of how you could get this going. These are the things to get you started. And then as people have been doing this and putting this into practice, then they're coming up with their own ideas of things to do in addition to it, in some cases. And in other cases, they're just kind of using these prompts as the inspiration each month. And I just feel like it's been a really helpful tool in giving people some inspiration of how to get started. But anyway, coming back to like how in our day-to-day life independent play fits in. So, now that my daughter is in school part-time, although she did just finish, but, I really try to get most of my calls, my work done, during the pockets of time that she's in school. But it's just not always possible. Things come up. And that's where I really utilize these prompts. I set things out near to where I am. This is a really key component with independent play, especially if you have young children at home. Many young children cannot get fully immersed in their play and really get going and engaged if their adult caregiver is not within earshot and eyeshot. It's just a fact. And so that might mean getting a little bit creative about where you're working. Sometimes that means I'm taking my computer into her room and I, will very clearly put out, hey, I have to finish sending this email. I have one more thing I need to do for my work. I'm going to do my work here in the chair while you play over here. And when I'm done, then we can play together, or then we can go have a snack, or, whatever it is. But, really clear communication so that she knows what to expect. And yeah, again, sometimes it's me coming into her space. Sometimes it's like, hey, I'm sitting at the desk. I'll set you up with something right near me while I finish this up. But having really clear communication about when I will be available to play together. is one, and just having her near to me. And the thing is, I can be doing what I'm doing and then check in with what she's doing. And I just find that she will play for longer stretches with me near to her. And again, this is something that we have built on over time. Now we've been in a rhythm with it for a while. It's something that we do consistently. So she, again, knows what to expect. But when we started, I was, having shorter stretches of this time. And now as she's become more proficient and her independent play skills have grown, I can have longer stretches of getting things done that I need to do. We also have quiet time. So my daughter is 3 and change, so she's not consistently napping anymore. Some days she does, some days she doesn't. So we started including a quiet time into our day, because I just found some days she did need the nap, so I didn't want to totally not offer it. And then secondly, even if she wasn't napping, she needed that decompressing time. And it also was a pocket of time that I had gotten used to relying on for work. So, I was very like, oh gosh, I can't really lose that hour and a half, especially on days that she doesn't have school. So that's another place where we've gotten in this rhythm, where she knows, following lunch, that this is what we do. I always make sure that there's a lot of connection time before, and I'll get more into this in a little bit, but if we want our child to play on their own, we really need to fill their cup. And that doesn't necessarily mean with play. It could mean that we played with them earlier in the day, and then later in the day, it's like, okay, now this is your time to play on your own. But it also could be, other types of connection. It could just be having a meal or a snack together, or going for a walk, or reading books. Just something that really is giving that connection, so that when it is time for them to do something separately from you, they've had that time with you at other points in the day. So I do always try to make sure that we have some kind of connection time before quiet time happens. But yeah, I think the consistency has been really key for us. Kids thrive on routine and predictability and knowing what to expect. And, this has been something like she was used to having her nap during this time of day. And now we have quiet time, and it's just been like, okay, she kind of comes to expect that midday, this is this time where she is going to be in her room and have some time to play. And I really involved her in the process of kind of coming up with what types of toys and materials she could use during quiet time. We have ones that are kind of special for that time of day. Things like her Tony box, which is like an audio player that she can listen to books and songs, or, some other quiet things. And it was really important, and I can't stress this enough, that if you are going to have a pocket of playtime where your child is playing more independently and you're not as involved, that you want it to be with things that then you're going to be comfortable letting go of and letting them do on their own. So for me, we're a big art family. Like, we love, coloring, stickers, painting, all that kind of stuff. We do a lot of that. My daughter's really into it. But during quiet time, we don't do, markers or paint or stickers. And that was mainly because, well, we'll do like reusable stickers sometimes, but it was because I couldn't fully let go and really get immersed into what I was doing and feel comfortable to let her do things on her own if the whole time I was kind of worrying, oh gosh, like, is she coloring on the wall, or is that sticker not going to come off, or, whatever. And the same thing goes for safety. If something is, you're not comfortable from a safety perspective, then that's off the table. So really leaning into the things that you actually are going to be able to feel comfortable with them doing separately from you, I think is really important. So we kind of came up with our list, and each day at that time, she'll choose which things she wants, and we'll have that quiet time for us that we've now built to, it's about like an hour and a half. And that kind of gives me that pocket midday that I know I'm going to be able to do things that I need to for work, and take care of stuff. Sometimes if it's a slow work day, maybe I will, dare I say it, work out, sometimes. But, or just like take a moment for myself. But either way, it's that time has kind of become built into our schedule. But yeah, if her cup is not filled, then quiet time, independent playtime, it's just not going to happen. And like I said, there's so many ways in addition to play that your child can connect with you, whether that be mealtime conversations, again, reading, going for walks, even like caretaking things like a diaper change if you're in that season, or, bath time. I've really been trying lately, like keeping my phone in the other room during bath time and just really like being in it and present with my daughter during those moments. And when, I am, it then makes it that much easier for the play to be happening separately at different points in the day. But yeah, I think that my biggest thing is like, I'm a mom first, and that always comes first. And that does mean then that sometimes my daughter does come in and, when I'm in the middle of something, or will call to me over the monitor when she's having her quiet time. And, that's okay. Yes, of course, sometimes it's a little frustrating depending what I'm in the middle of, but, I'm her mom first. And luckily in the space that I'm working in with parents, people are really understanding of that, when those things come up. So, there are times, it's not a perfect system. There are times that it's just not happening that day, or I didn't really get done what I needed to, but I can tell that we've kind of reached the expiration on the time that she can engage on her own. This is not a perfect system, but I will say that as we've really built on these skills over time and really prioritized this in our family, that most days it kind of flows together and it works. And, again, part of like parenting, I feel like, is we're always getting thrown these curveballs, right? And I feel like every time you think you've kind of gotten in a groove with something, or like you've mastered something, you figured it out, it changes on you. I talk with clients about that all the time. It's just like, it's a constant evolution. And, with independent play, it has been too. And there are definitely times that I can get longer stretches than others. There are times where if I've been working a lot, like if I've had a launch or something going on and I haven't been as available, it's a lot harder for her to then do these stretches than when we're in a normal rhythm and I'm, with her the amount that I typically would be. And then other transitions too. Like I remember at the start of the school year, and adjusting to that routine and just everything that comes with that. And there's so much that is happening for our kids when they're going through a transition like that. It was really difficult to then try to do independent play on top of that in the afternoons. It was like she was craving the time with me after not being with me in the morning. And it took time for us to kind of build back into, that routine. So know that, the seasons are going to change and it will look different at different times. But it is definitely something that is possible for every child, and you can start small and build upon it. And if you utilize some of the tips I shared today, like setting out a play prompt and making sure that it's near to you and making sure that you've had some significant connection time. And guys, I'm even talking like 5 to 10 minutes of just really giving your undivided attention can, then give you an hour, sometimes plus, of your child being able to play on their own. So it's not, even necessarily having to be an equal investment on one side or the other. Just really giving that undivided attention is so key. And yeah, this is one of the areas that I work with clients the most. So if you're struggling in this arena, please don't hesitate to reach out to me and learn more about how we can work together. I also mentioned earlier the Playful Parenting membership, where for just $10 a month, you can get 15 to 20 play prompts that use things you have around the house, plus access to a library of classes about child development and play fundamentals, so you can really learn and understand how to support child-led independent independent play at home. So definitely check that out as well. And those two things really go nicely together. If you're looking for additional support, but you also want that library of ideas, that's really fantastic for that. And then also, I should mention, I have a free guide to independent play, where I have a ton of tips. These are like my tried and true teacher tips, as well as things that I've used personally as a mom to help you on your family's independent play journey. So definitely check that out as well. It's a free resource and will give you not only some of the things I talked about today, but much more than that, as well as a couple of little prompts to kind of get you started, as they are specific to your specific child and your unique situation. Thank you so much for being with me today, and I will see you next time on the Art of Playful Parenting podcast. Have a good one. Thanks for listening to this week's episode. I hope you loved it and found it insightful. And if you did, please share it with another parent who would love it, or on your social media and tag me. Also, be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform and leave a review. Until next time, know that you're doing an amazing job. Your family is so lucky to have you. We've got this.